How are we? In the house, day 3, live Q&A. How are we? Breakthrough day today. I always see this as a huge day in terms of game changing, going from theory, which is great. You know, I chat a lot, as you may know. However, at the same time, we know that doing is the only way to get results. So if you're coming in, say hi. I'm just going to tag everyone in the meantime. So, hey Diane, give me a hello. Let me know if it's me you're looking for. Right. Enough of that. Although you're probably craving some live music, aren't you? Hello, is it? Hey Claire, hey Rachel. Great questions again, as always, tonight, which are awesome to see. Okay. Right. Okay. Right. Just tagging everyone in, and then we'll get started. Hey Becky, hey Karen, give me a hello if you're coming in. We'll get started in a minute or so. We are all good to go, as they say. Right. It is Wednesday, isn't it? Wednesday today. So, I'm going to jump into the one rule method again today as well. Some really great posts, some great rules set up, and just give you a bit of advice on them, as well as, of course, hey Dora, hey Tiffany. Right, let's see if we are now live and ready to go. Let's see, everyone coming in. I'm great, Sabrina, thank you for asking. Hey Eileen. So we are going to be going over, like I said, your rules, and if you want to post yours in the comments now, you can do this, but we obviously go over the questions first as well. So I think we're good to go. It is the day 3 live. We're ready to rock. Let me get the questions up. Hey Kathy, hey Bonita, hey Sandra. Good evening, how are we? How are we feeling? Day 3, what's your biggest win so far? Day 3, what's your biggest win so far? Biggest win so far. Hey Rosie, hey Venetia, hey Nicola. Good evening. Right, let's get these questions up. So, key thing to touch on with the one rule, is that remember that this rule doesn't have to be set in stone forever. This is just a move from A to B today. Okay, this is to move to A to B today. Because the only way you're going to make progress is by doing. And you might need to refine the rule after a while. Hey Maggie, hey Sandra. After a while, you may need to change it. You may need to refresh it. You may want to put an asterisk next to it to add other things in. You may want to be more flexible with that rule. This isn't like that's it. You just do it and you're done. My win so far is I have, oh no, water infection. Oh, hope you're feeling better. Okay, but you're here, so well done. Great stuff, Sarah. Hey, Caroline. Hey, Julianne. So remember, you're about refining that rule, okay? You're refining that rule. That's the key thing throughout this, and I'm going to go over this in a bit more detail. So, hey, Sue, let's get these questions going. So, as I said, some really great rules being made as well, the questions being made, which you've got to, my advice is that you're 100% certain that you can stick to it. 100% certain that you can stick to it. That's always going to be my advice, okay? Okay, so, because that's where the confidence is built. So, Eileen, how do I keep in mind from telling me that I need a glass of wine when it gets to around 8 p.m. every day? Have this problem, but with chocolate. Okay, so I'm going to touch on this now. So, remember we've touched on this one rule. Claire, feeling positive and motivated, enjoying my exercise and paying much more attention to what I'm eating. Awesome, well done. Hey Wendy, so how do I keep my mind from telling me that I need a glass of wine when it gets to around 8 p.m. Becky also says, I have this problem too with chocolate. So it gets to 8 p.m. My body just says, give me wine and chocolate. Now let's take a backstory of why we may actually be craving this in the first place. Now, this could be because we haven't eaten enough in the day, potentially. Maybe we haven't eaten enough protein in the day. Maybe we haven't nourished our body. As a result of that, you are now craving something, a dopamine hit, something as a pick-me-up. Maybe we haven't actually done something for ourselves, so we're actually craving something that makes us feel good. Maybe that's the thing that makes us feel good, at least in the short term. Now, the fact you've asked that question, Eileen, and the fact you've asked that question, Becky, would suggest that you want to change it. There's something you don't like about it. Is that correct? There must be something you don't like about it. And if there's something you don't like about it, you've got to ask that question, why? Like, why is it annoying you? Because let's face it, with the one rule method, with the 300 calorie snack allowance I spoke about in the hand size guide yesterday, is there any problem with having a glass of wine? Is there any problem with having some chocolate at 8 o'clock? My point is here, what actually is the issue? Is it that you eat too much? Is it you drink too much? Is it you go to bed late? Is it impact your sleep? Does it impact the quality of your sleep? Is it that you feel out of control when you do it? Is it you feel dependent on it? And what I would say with this is actually use some form of journaling in this situation. And I use this example based on what happened yesterday. I was sat in this room and I was really smug, sat here, kids were playing. I was thinking, this is all right. I was reading and writing at the time. This is all right, this. And then my concentration was broken, not by noise, but by silence. I was like, what are the kids doing? It's silent. Right. Looked in the living room, looked in the kitchen, none there, none there. Walked upstairs, still really quiet. What room are they in? Then I saw them. They were dressing up as dinosaurs using my wife's makeup on the bedding, which is white. Anyway, my point here is my concentration was broken by silence. What I was doing, I was so into what I was doing, so into it, but it was broken by silence. I stopped what I was doing. Your attention is critical here, okay? So energy will flow where your attention goes. Energy will flow where your attention goes. Energy will flow where your attention goes. So where's your attention at that time? So this is why I bring it back to journal. What are you craving / what feeling are you trying to create? Then consider, is it worth it, what you're thinking that you need right now, what you're craving, whatever it is? Just be honest with the answer. Don't judge yourself when you answer this. Then consider how much you would need to be happily satisfied. How much you would need to be happily satisfied right now. My point here is that most people don't know how much they would need to be happily satisfied. And if you don't know how much you would need to be happily satisfied, how are you ever going to know if you're doing well, if you're feeling good, if you're not feeling good? How are you going to know when to stop beating yourself up? How are you going to differentiate between I've eaten chocolate or I've drank a glass of wine and that's bad versus I've eaten a glass of wine and I've eaten some chocolate and it's a part of my plan? I can have that because psychosocially it's good for me. It allows me to socialize, give myself permission to have the foods I want. I don't put foods on a pedestal, and as a result of that, I don't react and feel out of control or feel like a failure if I eat this food. No food has power over me. I'm able to move back on the plan if I do have a bit too much, and I'm full of power now, rather than powerless. I'm going to throw it the other way now and consider the argument that voice in our head might say, but there's no way I can not have my chocolate at 8 o'clock. Now, I'm going to really flip this a little bit and just consider, okay, that voice in your head may say that that's deprivation if you don't have it. And that's fine. But also consider the alternative. So if you do have it, what are you depriving yourself of? If you don't have it, what are you depriving yourself of? So if you do have it, what are you depriving yourself of? If you don't have it, what are you depriving yourself of? So if I have the wine, I have the chocolate, I'll give you an example for me, I'm essentially depriving myself of a better night's sleep. Like research will show that I might find it easier to get to sleep, but will my quality of sleep be as good? Will I be dependent on it over time to more good sleep? Yes. Will I wake up with as much energy as I need to do what I do to help people, to give myself, I love it, let's face it, it gives me a lot of oomph in my day. Will I be as good a dad if I'm doing it? What am I depriving myself of? Will I have the energy to run around with them and chase them and play with them? Or will I be stressed because I didn't get up early enough to get the work done I needed to do to make me feel good and help other people? Now I'm blaming my kids, but little do I know I'm stressed and I'm tired now and I need the drink and the chocolate to make me feel good in the evening. That's pretty much what goes in my head, and that's how I don't drink that often, but I still do sometimes if I really want to. That's okay. So, I hope that helps on there. A few things to think about. I think the deprivation thing is a key question to ask. What are you depriving yourself of by having it? And I think you've got to write this down. I think our brain and our mind is just too good at being blurry with this stuff, and the instant gratification will just be too much for our brain to kind of digest it all in our heads. I think it's important we write it down. That's just me. Most people won't bother writing it down, and most people will say it doesn't work. And that's where that accountability can come in. That's so critical. Accountability is so key. And it's like one of the ladies, she's changed her evening routine completely. Hers is dinner and done, or she does something different at that time. And she just checks in with me. Dinner and done, every day. Dinner and done. And that's just her thing. That's her switch off. Other people, this is going to sound crazy. You shut the kitchen door, clap 4 times. I'm done. That's my signal to the end of the night. It's just it's like the silence for me with the kids dressing up as dinosaurs with the makeup. Comes back down to that one rule. Dinner and done. I don't eat after 7 p.m. Whatever it is. If I want to eat after 7 p.m, it's this, and this. So, I hope that helps. Eileen, Becky, if you're on, let me know. If you have any questions on that, do let me know. I know I've missed quite a few comments, but I didn't want to stop mid-flow. Nikki asks, if we could only fit in one 10-minute exercise session a day, what would be the best one to do? Or should we do a different one each day? E.g., one day legs, next day arms. Okay, so I would say, yeah, I mean, you want to get a variation so you're hitting your different body parts. That's going to be a key thing. I don't think there's a best one to do, so to speak. It depends on your goals a little bit, but I know you said about walking yesterday, Nikki, a lot, so any muscle strengthening stuff to be in addition to that would be great. There's pros and cons. If you train full body every day, you're not hitting your muscle as hard because you're training your whole body. So you're not isolating like the upper or lower, so you might be less achy and able to more train better tomorrow. But at the same time, you may not benefit from really going in hard on that muscle and seeing the benefit that you want from that muscle stimulus change that you're looking for in terms of tone, strength. There's really no right or wrong there. I would say it's a preference thing and kind of bridge the gap between, okay, what workout, truthfully, do you know is going to get you closer to where you want to be? But at the same time, which workout do you actually enjoy doing, you have motivation to do? Okay, and then kind of blur the lines in between. Sarah, Kate, I'm doing a daily workout already. Pilates, resistance, etc. I want to be true to the challenge, but assuming this is okay to do my regular workouts as opposed to yours. Yeah, that's fine. Obviously, it'd be good to know like your form and your technique and stuff, and just kind of check in. That's fine. And it depends on your main goal as well. Is it around the food? Is it around the exercise? Is it both? And just kind of get what you want out of that, okay? How many calories should I be eating? How many calories should I be eating? So, I've just dropped a link in the comments in here. And you should be able to see this any second now. And in this link, there it says fruitchifit.com / wait for it, how many calories do I need? There you are. And there's a little calculator in there. that you can just go straight into and put it in there. That's if you are tracking your calories. Not everyone needs to, not everyone will be, but a few people have asked how many calories do I actually need, okay? Okay, Sarah, how much water should you drink? So how much water should you drink a day? It's a great question because you hear, 2 litres come up a lot, right? Everyone hear that? Drink 2 litres a day. And let's face it, 2 litres is fine. I'm just going to have a sip of my sparkling water. Was your attention on that? Okay, so consider here, it's often splattered around. However, this depends on the weather, how much exercise you do, how many calories you're eating, because let's face it, most of the food is water. That's not an excuse to open the biscuit tin, by the way. Most of the food is water, so you're getting a lot of fluid from there. So if you're doing an ultra low calorie diet, you may want to be wary of that, okay? At the same time, yeah, like I said, weather, how much you sweat, exercise, all these things impact that. A good rule of the thumb is if you're weeing clear by noon, so you're weeing clear by noon, and clear kind of like lemonade-ish, not like clear, that's probably overhydration to an extent. If you've had a Barocca, obviously that might illuminate your wee a little bit more. Sorry if I'm putting off your dinner now. Or just kind of 3 clear wees a day, like you're going to be there or thereabouts. And that also gives you the flexibility then to not be so, which is normally the next question, well, do herbal teas, are herbal teas okay? Is coffee okay? Is tea okay? And the answer is yes. Like often people will say that, yeah, but surely the caffeine will dehydrate you. If you have an espresso, it's probably quite close because you're not having much fluid. But if you try to dehydrate yourself via drinking coffee, you would probably die of overhydration in the meantime and over caffeine. You'd probably die of too much caffeine. Yeah. So I wouldn't worry about that. But at the same time, like if you have IBS, digestive issues, you don't just want to rely on tea and coffee, of course, because they are diuretics at the same time. Just saying, don't get too caught up with it. If you're having sugar-free squash to get your water intake in, yeah, it might not be perfect, but it's better than not having it. A good thing I do that helps me get my water intake in is first thing in the morning, I always drink a glass of water. Then before every meal, I have a glass of water. Every time I have a hot drink, I have a glass of water. The glass can be small. It doesn't have to be like a pint. And that just helps. That reminds me to drink water. Do I like water? Not really. Hence why I drink quite a lot of sparkling water. But I normally drink sparkling water in the evening. So, I hope that helps. Some great comments coming in as well, which I'll come to. Karen, I'm not keen on plain water. What's the best thing to add to give it flavour apart from squash? Cool. Maggie says a wedge of lemon, lime, some basil. Yeah, they're all great suggestions. Apart from squash, you can get those like infusions tea bags as well that I've used before. I've often just put in a big water bottle. And they've been quite good. They do smell nicer than they taste, if I'm perfectly honest. But they're quite good. And they're obviously like without the sweetener, if that's what you're talking about there as well. I love it. I haven't actually checked the questions here. And the next question is, can herbal tea, Wendy, be part of the fluid intake each day? Can you still drink wine, say just on the weekends? Yes and yes. So herbal tea, yeah, you can, like we said. Can you still drink wine just on the weekend? Yeah, absolutely. So that 300 calorie snack allowance can be anything you want. Like, this is just a guide, of course, but that could be anything you want. Like, a few of the ladies who I work with on our Kickstart program, even just they, if alcohol is something that they want to tackle, we might make a rule where it's like, okay, just Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. One of the ladies yesterday, the other day, this week's her first week of doing it, where she is now, her husband has now stopped pouring her wine, and he's agreed because she's just been at it all the time. She was struggling because he just pour wine. Now they're like, right, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And now, guess what? He's loving it because he's like, yeah, I'm actually feeling a bit better now. And that's taken time. That has taken a long time. But like I said, yeah, you're still having it in there. It's just more controlled, and you're balancing between you know, what you want to do, having a bit of fun, dare I say it, you're allowed to do that, and actually getting the results you want, which is also fun, right? Seeing your body change, being healthier, being happier, being able to do more things that you want to do. Let's put weight aside here. Health, fitness level, strength, energy levels, all these things that, let's face it, make our motivation better, our outlook better. We're maybe able to watch the news and feel better in how we respond to it, depending on our energy, controlling what we can. So, I hope that helps, Wendy. Alison, mine has been asked. All good. Another question, Wendy. Just thought of another question. If I don't have the 300 calories a snack, can I have a larger portion of something else? Absolutely, yes. Absolutely. So, what's amazing about that is that's how flexible the plan is. Someone asked about avocado on Monday. Evening, Joe. Evening, Helen. Someone asked about avocado on Monday. About, you know, I normally have more than that. And yeah, like I said, you can dip in and out from your 300 calories of snacks to just make your meals bigger. If you're more of a carby person, maybe cut the fat and double up on the carbs. Double up on the carbs, get rid of the fat. Low fat. Fine. Go at your level here. It doesn't matter. Keep protein quite constant. That's quite a key thing for appetite regulation, for muscle, for recovery, particularly as we age. And then carbs and fats, they're your kind of preference. Go with what you want. That's absolutely fine. Like, I do think there's a lot to be said for having more nourishing meals, because snacks are just generally more palatable, easier to overeat. Like, we had lasagna tonight, a gluten-free lasagna, as I've got celiac, and I'm stuffed from it. Yeah, it might have been about the amount I ate, probably I can eyeball it around maybe 600 calories or so. We bulked it out with salad, which is always a good thing to do. Vinegar especially will help keep you full as well. Salad, vinegar, bulked out the plate with that. It might have even been a bit more than that because I did have some coleslaw. But the interesting thing here is I'm now just completely stuffed. Like, if you gave me something, I'd be a bit like, yeah, not. But if I'd have had something a bit lighter at that time, like a chicken salad, seems great, but now I'd be a bit peckish. You know? So, Jill, the link to the calorie counter is in the comments. You might have to scroll up a bit, but I'll post it again for you. I'll reply to your comment. So, Helen, why am I so tired today? I don't know. Is there anything you've done differently, Helen? How have you slept? What's your diet like? Do you have enough iron in your diet? Do you have enough vitamin B in your diet? They would be questions that I would look at. What's your work schedule like? Are you taking time up? Yeah, have a look at that, and let me know if you're on the call, which I think you are. Yeah, you are. Judith, is hummus and carrot sticks a healthy snack? Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with hummus and carrots. It is a case of like total intake, total calories. So, you know, build that up for whatever you want. You've got a crunch. There's something quite satisfying about having a crunch. So you got the crunch and the carrot. Hummus is tasty. There's a little bit of protein in there, not huge amounts, but you just got to be careful with hummus and things like that. In that, if it's something for you that's easy to overeat. For example, I blooming love it. So that's so palatable, it's creamy. And, you know, this comes back to the question about processed foods a lot. Like, people say, I don't eat processed food. Hummus is a processed food. It's processed to the extent where it tastes absolutely delicious. If you try to eat that amount of chickpeas, you might just go, you know, I'm kind of done. Chickpeas and, you know. But it's blended in a way which is delicious and it's easy to overeat. So we've kind of got to question our beliefs sometimes around food. But yeah, it's got good nutrients in. Again, comes down to portion size. What makes a bad food? I don't really know. It's different for everyone. Depends on your relationship with it. Take peanut butter. I don't know how they get away with it. I don't know. Peanut butter is delicious. I absolutely love it. But I could eat like so much peanut butter because I just find it delicious. Now, for me, yes, it's a healthy fat, but portion size is key here. So what I'm getting at here is too much of anything can be a quote unquote bad thing, which makes a good food technically a bad food. If you think of peanuts, they're generally in shells, would be up a tree. We probably wouldn't eat that many, but today's food world allows us great availability of foods, and we're able to blend a load of nuts and just eat them in a spread straight from the jar. Yum. Yes, Claire. Yeah, that's am I weird that I would take Sunpat over ice cream to an extent? Yeah, it would be close anyway. It would be close. Yeah, peanut butter, Reese's peanut butter. My birthday's in May, by the way. So, Sally, I'm enjoying cooking with coconut milk. How healthy is this? How many calories are in it? Do you mean the tinned one, like you would put in a curry? I guess you do, not the carton one. So the carton one is actually very low in calories. The carton one is very low in calories. The tinned one, you can get a lower fat version. There's the fat at the top, but it depends how much you're having as well. If you're having it in a meal, and that's spread over the meal, and then it comes back down to portion size, can you bulk it out with vegetables, chicken, and before you know it, meats, whatever, proteins. Before you know it, you're okay. Yeah, so again, it depends on kind of how much you're having. Yeah, peanut butter, but it's got to be crunchy. Yeah. So yeah, Sally, it depends on how much you're having. I wouldn't say it's unhealthy though. And like I said, if you're nourishing yourself at a meal time, then that's a great thing. Cool. Sarah, just went to look at the protein powder and I have been totally confused. They nearly all seem to be flavoured with sweeteners in, which I can't help. Could you point me in the right direction, please? Yeah. Sarah, I can send you a link to an unflavoured one with no sweeteners in. So it's unflavoured and you're all good to go. So I can send you a link to that. How much water liquid should we drink a day? Does tea and coffee count? We've covered that one. Got it. So, it does count. Helen, I cook vegan food for a living. This is where my problem starts. Oh, I think Maggie's just gone. Maggie, you'd have been good for this. Maggie, you still there? I'm surrounded by food all day and have to taste what I'm cooking, yet God knows how many unknown mindless extra calories I consume. Any ideas on how I can get better and not feed my face whilst cooking all day? P.S. I'm really tired today. Okay. So, yeah, there's no doubt you've got to taste the food. If you were to deep down answer the question, how many times do you need to taste the food? How many times would that be? Do you end up eating more than you need to taste it? And just consider how many times you would actually need to taste it. Then taste it that many times, and to distract yourself, could you have a hot drink nearby? Something that tastes a bit different to what you're having at that, once you've tasted it, of course, and you're kind of happy with it. If you're obviously tasting it as you go, you don't want to mix kind of tastes, of course, but if it's like picking once you've tasted it, but you're just kind of picking it because it's nice now, yeah, way more. So when you get to that stage where you know it's fine, are you okay with leaving it for a period of time and having something else, but still having something else, whether that's like a hot lemon, a hot chocolate? A hot lemon might be quite good, but a hot lemon, because it will keep that neutral taste, but also it's something just to have and pacify at the same time. Could you just make a rule that once you are at that taste, you have some pre-cut vegetables around, Helen, and then you can just eat as many as you want on that? That could be your one rule. I can eat whatever I want when I want in between meals, as long as it's pre-cut vegetables, pre-cut fruit, whatever works for you in there. Have something to nibble so you're not nibbling something that maybe is higher in calories, etc. That's an option as well. Is that something you could do, Helen? Let me know your thoughts on that. Okay. Maggie, how to cope with tiredness and keeping on track with eating correctly and exercising. Would like to eat bowl of cereal and watch TV, but got to do many things to do, including today's exercise. How to cope with tiredness. So how to cope with tiredness. I would say consider how you're actually feeling. If you're feeling tired, what would you say to a friend who is feeling tired? Listen to your body and give it kind of what it needs. And what I mean by this is, with the exercise, do you get more energy from it once you've done it? If that's a thing, well, that's going to create energy for the day. Are you protecting your energy? Are you doing your exercise first thing in the morning, perhaps? When your willpower is higher? And when your willpower is higher, the great thing about that is that you're more likely to do it then. You may then create more energy for the day. So that could be an option for you. Then it comes down to, there are a few things like meditation, which can help with your energy levels as well. Okay, so meditation is a good thing to do. We know that that helps. That's almost in line with sleep in terms of helping with tiredness. Hey Sarah, so in terms of our ability to make decisions based on where we want to be long term, our prefrontal cortex, which is the part of our brain which allows us to make decisions based on where we are now and where we want to go. So we're thinking longer term. Tiredness and lack of sleep literally shuts that off. Meditation and sleep seems to bring that back, which is a powerful thing to know. Meditation can be anything. You can use apps like Headspace. In our Kickstart program, we have Caroline Quinton Smith. You may have heard of her before from Calm Quiet Space. She comes in and does meditations on a Monday evening. But it can be guided. It doesn't have to be guided. But it's about just spending that time out. It could just be having a nap. It could be laying there. It could be reading, having a bath, something for you. Something we do in the Kickstart is I always talk about is those 3 legs of a stool, and you've got the food, fitness, and then you've got that self-care element as well. If you're not doing anything for you to create energy or to protect your energy, we can't really expect to have it. Remember that rest is a prerequisite for success, not a reward. So if you're always chasing your tail, you're always going to struggle. Something I've struggled with a lot over the last years, especially with 2 kids, is getting to bed early. I'm so much more productive in the morning, yet for some reason I got into bad habits of just going, yeah, well, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do that. And all of a sudden I'm staying up later, then I'm tired the next day. And like I said before about then what am I depriving myself of next day, that energy. Can I give you as much energy as I can if I don't get to bed? No. Is that fair? No. I've only got myself to blame. That sometimes is enough to me, looking at what I'm going to deprive myself of. Because I could watch TV, I could spend more time for me, and I enjoy it at the time. I could scroll all day on, Facebook, etc. And I enjoy it at the time. But then I'm like, should I have done that? I'm now regretting it the next day. Then I'm thinking, is it actually time for me if I'm not actually enjoying it? If I just got up a bit earlier, had me time, the kids are sleeping, everyone's asleep, I can get on with stuff that I want to do. That, for me, is a huge game changer for headspace, for my time, for productivity. Then when the kids get up, I'm buzzing to see them. I'm like hyper. Mrs. Fruit Jen's like, my wife's like, just tone it down a bit. It's like 7 o'clock. And I'm like, let's do it. Da-da-da. Going straight in on there because I've had my me time. I'm all right. Yeah. And I'm getting the kids rallied up straight away. It's like, go, go, go. Whereas when I'm rolling out of bed and they're there, it's just like, oh, here we go again. It's just like no headspace. Anyway, that was a tangent. So I hope that gives you a bit of an insight, Maggie. If you're on, let me know. Okay. And regarding today's goals, can you set more than 1 rule? Maybe 2 or 3, or should I just have 1? I would start with 1, but you can set more than 1, yeah. I would start with 1, but you can set more than 1. If anyone's struggling with their rule, I'll just give you a few examples. So Deborah was no eating between meals. Very simple. Some of the ladies was dinner and done. So you have your dinner, then you're just done. Like I said, that's it. Kitchen closed, done. But you could have an asterisk on that, dinner and done, apart from hot chocolates. like options, hot chocolates, whatever it is, cups of tea, whatever. I'm aching, but enjoying the exercise. Great stuff, Kerry. Claire, I only drink wine on Fridays and Sundays. Wow, I've been drinking a lot of calories per week. Almost my allowance for one day. Yeah. So just to give you a few examples, Sarah Kate, Sunday is going to be a one treat day for me. If I feel like eating something I usually avoid, e.g. chocolate brownie. Cool. So then it's like, I know some of the ladies that's similar, you know, I only have cake on a Friday. One of the ladies who's a school teacher, she was like, there's so much cake in there at the moment. It's quite hard to just resist every day. And I said, okay, how many slices of cake would you actually want? How many slices of cake would you actually want? And the key thing with this is that to actually just remind yourself that, you know, how many do you need and want? And she was like, well, if I had it on a Friday, that's all good. Okay, cool. Just have it on a Friday. Cool. I only eat cake on a Friday. Fine. That's the person I've committed to being. Then there's no, should I, shouldn't I? Am I going to be good today? Let's have a look. That's just what I do. That's just my rule. And I'm true to my word, and I go in. Let me just scroll up a little bit. Okay. Yeah, Maggie. I decided to have time out. Love that. And lay down for 10 minutes, realise this is as important as eating well and exercising. Yeah. 100%. That's so, so important. Hang on, I've missed Sabrina's comment and everyone's laughing at it. Let me have a look. Wait there. My husband thinks I'm online dating. Keep talking. That's brilliant. I've had worse, by the way. I've had one where someone left me a voicemail, actually. Someone left me a voicemail and they thought the voicemail was off. And then they were actually having an argument saying, why are you ringing him? And he was like, it's about personal training. And they're like, why are you ringing them? And yeah, it was like, I couldn't help but listen. I thought, oh, I bet, should I hang up? Let's hang up. I couldn't put it down. I was like, right, I gotta hang up now. Just hang up. Just delete it. Delete it. Anyway, here we are. So, back to the questions. Let's have a look. Does he still think we're online dating, by the way? So, you would surely be bored of me right now. All I talk about is nutrition, right? I'd be boring the hell. You'd be like, oh, can we talk about something else now? I don't care how much water you need a day. Okay, so I get tired very early evening. Diana, it seems a lot of us have mentioned being tired. Yeah, so coming back into that again, with being tired, I think we fight it too much. I think we fight it rather than just accept it. And I get it, like it's like push through. We've been told that, you know, we're drummed into us to push through. And yeah, there's a time and a place. There's definitely a time and a place for that. Like so key. But at the same time, I always say with the exercise side of things, a 3-minute test, do the exercise for 3 minutes. If after 3 minutes you don't want to do it anymore, give yourself permission to stop and be okay with that. Worst case, you've done 3 minutes. Then just consider that if you're tired in the evening, is it okay to go to bed early? Like, people feel they can't go to bed early, and I feel a bit weird sometimes when I'm going to bed really early. Like, I've been to bed on a Saturday night quite often at 7, 8. It was almost like the turning point. I think when we had kids, I got into the habit of napping like a pro, I would say. I could just put my head down and just nap for 3 minutes. Like, if I had 3 minutes, I was like, oh my God, I'm enjoying this 3 minutes like never before. And I think it's give yourself permission to have a nap. I know some of the ladies I've worked with, they decided to now have naps or meditation in the afternoon or just some time out, a walk. Before, they would feel too guilty doing that. Yet here's the interesting part. They wouldn't feel guilty eating, having coffee, eating biscuits to give more energy because they felt like they were doing something. Kerry, I struggle to get to bed early. What makes you struggle to get to bed early? I'm always curious of that. Is it distractions? Do you feel like it's your time? So, Kathy, looking at the meal makers from yesterday, please can you clarify the hand size portion? Palm size or not the whole hand, yes. Where also does cheese fit in? Thumb size portion of cheddar, palm size cottage cheese, thank you. Great questions, yeah. So protein would be like that. So, this is rough, but like thickness of your hand. So like kind of like a chicken breast almost. Carbs, so like a potato there. Cheddar, yeah, so that would be more of a fat, whereas like cottage cheese, that would be more of a protein. Okay? I hope that clarifies that. Sabrina started the day with exercise, then by afternoon, after it took knees, start to stiffen up, become more painful. Today I exercised again and felt better. I've drank more water and cake craving at 3:30 p.m. I knocked on the head with some mixed nuts. So for a wet Wednesday, quite good. Keep going, Tutti Frucci's. Love it. Virtual high five. Awesome work. What a day. Great stuff. Well done for sharing that win. Awesome. Love it. Tutti Frucci's, that's like my upbringing, that was. At school, it was like, when someone said Tutti Frutti, I thought, come on, that one's been said. Come on, let's get a new one now. Okay, so that's all the questions I had so far. Awesome wins, by the way. If anyone's got any questions now, do let me know. I have tiny hands. It's a rough guide. So, like I said as well, if you're still hungry, so I will touch on this now, as this comes up a lot. So if you're still hungry, I would go through this without using the word roadmap. I think that's been used quite a lot, but I'll use it now. Let's have a roadmap out of hunger now. So, if you're still hungry after your meal, could you eat more vegetables? Remember, as many vegetables as you want. Fibre fills you up because it slows down how long food takes to go through your system. By slowing it down and having food in your system for longer, that sends signals to your hormones that your body's eating. We are all good. However, fibre alone isn't always enough for this. AKA, eat loads of vegetables, an hour later you might be not only on the loo, but also you might also be really hungry again, like you feel like empty again all of a sudden. So adding in protein on that's going to help as well. So first off, could you add more vegetables to your meal? Second off, could you drink more water? Third off, could you eat more protein? Hard-boiled egg, Sarah says. Could you eat more protein? If yes, great. Double up on that, then see how you feel. Calories from protein aren't digested the same as other nutrients. They're generally not absorbed so well. Also, we know as we age, we need more protein, so it might even benefit us more. Increasing your calories from protein rather than other nutrients tends to have more of a beneficial and fat-sparing effect compared to other nutrients. So when people were overfed protein, they tended not to put on body fat, but more put on muscle, which is really cool for like bed rest studies and hospital studies where people are maybe comas, bed rest, and they're like, right, we want to make sure this person preserves as much muscle as possible when they wake up. Let's feed them a high protein diet. And even if they don't move, we can still actually preserve more muscle. We can learn a lot from that. Kerry says flaxseed, that's more of a fat. So that will come under the fats. Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's get some of these more comments up. Perfect. Any other questions at the moment? Perfect. Awesome win. Some really good wins on here. Love it. I'll mute myself, otherwise I'm listening to myself at the same time. Yeah, good. Love that. Cool. Yeah, lots of wins. So, Helen, yeah, those were good ideas. I've actually been cooking all day today and managed to avoid filling my face more than necessary. Well done, Helen. Awesome work. Great stuff. Brilliant. So, that, I think, is a wrap today. I have put a link to our 6-week kickstart in the comments in the description above for those that have asked about what happens after the 5-day. Can I carry on? Details above. That starts on Monday, by the way. That 6-week kickstart. So tomorrow we go on to more about hunger. So this will come in quite nicely with what we've discussed today, especially what I've just touched on now. So hunger in terms of physiological and psychological, okay? I had my first protein shake today to try and increase my protein. Would this be classed as my snack? It could be within it, yeah. It could be within it, yeah. Unless you had it as a meal replacement. Bonita, in the description of this, it will say like live Q&A, then below it will say details of. Cool, great stuff, Annie. Any other questions, do let me know. As always, just do your best. That's the key thing. Do your best, and remember every day is day one. Imagine if you treated every day as day one, rather than go, right, day one, day two, day three, I've messed up. And the cool thing about messing up, the great thing about messing up, is that it's sometimes a reminder of how well you've done, and we often don't remember that. So if you go, oh, I messed up now, I did it for 3 days, just say that and go, I did it for 3 days. That's cool, you're 3-1 up. Just win the game. Great stuff, Jane. Great stuff, Bonita. Awesome work, Joe. Love it. Awesome. Awesome. Good stuff. I'll go back through those wins as well. It's not letting me go up on the comments anymore. But those wins were cool. And I'll post that unflavoured protein powder in as well. And we're good to go from there. Great stuff, Claire. Great stuff, Kerry. Have a lovely evening. Hope that helped. Becky. Thanks, Jill. Lots of good information. Teresa, great stuff. Cool. Good night. I hope all is good. Great stuff, Sabrina. Awesome work, Claire. Good stuff, Marie. Good evening, Sally. Awesome. Enjoy the rest of it. See you on the replay tomorrow. Awesome. You're really helping. Great. Thank you, Helen. Good to hear. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you, Camilla. See you, Bonita. I will see you tomorrow, where we get down again into hunger, psychological hunger, physiological hunger, and of course, a workout. Great stuff, Laura. Hope you're feeling all good. Have a lovely evening. Control what you can. Drink your protein. Or eat your protein. Drink your water. Stay safe. Speak soon.